quick random question. My girlfriend and I were just having a conversation about some of our activities in the past. But is it proper etiquette at a strip club for a gentleman who's paying for a lap dance to ask the young lady who's performing the service for eye contact? Again, my girlfriend says that's asking for too much, that making eye contact in a strip club for a dancer may be considered as too intimate, too personal. So it's okay for her to bust everything else wide open, but to look at you, give you eye contact is too much to ask for. Is that right, babe? Yeah. So I'm just curious, fan base family, random question. Do you think it's too much to ask for eye contact when getting a lap dance in a strip club? Just random question.
Brother Mark Scott here. First of all, let me welcome you again to the channel. This is the Brother Mark Scott channel. I actually made that video a little while ago, just kind of spur the moment. Me and my girlfriend were having a conversation, but it actually highlighted something for me personally. And I'll give you a little bit of context. Not a big proprietor or visitor of strip clubs. I've gone a few times, not that I'm ashamed of it, but a long time for the lifestyle that I lived, it just wasn't a good look for me as a quote unquote man of God to be going to the strip club on a regular basis. But like any man, I enjoy seeing beautiful women. But particularly after going through a breakup with my first marriage, and I was in the beginnings of going into my divorce proceedings, wanting to have the luxury of enjoying beautiful women, dating for me at that age and at that time was difficult. When I looked out into the landscape and saw what was going on, I really didn't want to participate in it. So one of my outlets that I reached out to a couple of times was visiting a local strip club. When I went into the strip club, one of the things that I heard from a couple of the dancers that I had conversations with was, "You're different." And again, I just ain't got a whole lot of money, so I'm not going to be at the strip club throwing money like that. That's not my MO. I would have a certain amount of money that I knew I was going to mess off, but when I would go, I was actually looking for something a little bit different than just the regular, "Hey, I'm just here to see some titties and ass." Like, that's always going to be a part of it. Never going to deny that as a man, but I was looking at the strippers honestly from the heart of a father. And that's why, again, it sounds like it's kind of oxymoronic, or maybe even bipolar, or maybe it's just that it's hypocritical. But the natural side of me could enjoy looking at women and the feeling the feminine softness of the women in the strip club. But there's another part of me, what I would call my higher consciousness, my awareness, that was aware that this is somebody's daughter, a lot of somebody's mother, somebody's sister. And when I caught myself actually thinking about this, when talking to them, I would look them directly in the eye, and instantly, when they recognized that, a lot of them would avert their eyes, they would turn away. They didn't want to hold eye contact. And I literally made it a direct request. And I asked her simply, "Hey, if I pay you for this lap dance, can you do me one favor? Just simply give me eye contact." We're often told that the windows are the eyes, or the eyes are the window to the soul, is how it's said. There is some wordplay, so to speak, that I would often use when I was teaching. When we talk about eye contact being too intimate, the word intimate is actually made up of a couple of different words. And there is a very popular phrase that you will hear people use called "intimacy is into me, you see." And oftentimes the reason why so many people are challenged or threatened or feel uncomfortable with giving direct eye contact is because at that moment when you lock eyes with somebody, they feel very vulnerable and they feel like you can see inside of them. And so whatever issues they have, whatever they're dealing with, whatever they're struggling with, whatever insecurity that they feel like their eyes are the most vulnerable place to hold engagement with people. So they often avert their eyes, they avoid eye contact. In some cultures, direct eye contact is actually seen as a threat, as a challenge. But you have to recognize that no matter what we're doing, even in a strip club, we're still people, we're still human beings. And the fact that we are able to consciously have this detachment allows us to continually repeat cycles that often are very, very unhealthy. And again, I'm not saying that, hey, strip clubs should be shut down, we shouldn't go, or there's any judgment against anybody who works in the sex industry. But I just see that there's also a human element that is always present, that sometimes is suppressed or pushed down, or we want to keep safe or protected from having the ability to allow people to truly see into who we are. So I can understand why so many people would be uncomfortable with eye contact. But this is just one of the subjects that I'm having to dig into. Again, I've been doing some research here. I am working on my new ebook called The Dating Game. We are literally, I'm having conversations with people, and you'll see some of the interviews here on the channel, but I am literally trying to help us rewrite the rules so we can have a conversation about dating and relationships to where we can all win. Because oftentimes I'm noticing that we're so afraid of being intimate, of people truly seeing who we are, that we're repeating these cycles of bondage and damage and trauma in our relationships. And it only seems as if things are getting worse. Again, both sides, the battle of the sexes, relationships, men and women, both sides have valid points, have things that they need to air out. They need to be heard on. And there has to be some accountability on both sides. But unfortunately, most of the conversations that I'm seeing are just, we're talking at each other. We're not talking to each other. So I'm approaching it with the dating game as a way that we can talk to each other about how we can deal with the traumas of our past, come into a place of understanding and good faith now, and continue to move forward in trust and honesty so that we can have relationships so that we can all win. So if you would like, you can actually pre-order my upcoming ebook, The Dating Game. It's only $13. You can go to the Cash App, Mr. Mark Scott 76. Just put in the note, The Dating Game, and that is your promo code. Now, once you do that, just simply email it to brothermarkscott@gmail.com. So once you put your $13 in, you pre-order, you get your receipt, email it to me. So I'll make sure that I email you the ebook as soon as it's complete. And again, if you're watching this video, please subscribe to this channel. I literally just started this channel. I am trying to build it and grow it. So right now I'm on a campaign to get my first 1,000 followers so I can honestly monetize and help support the vision of what I have, because I honestly feel like it's my calling. Ever since I stepped away from the ministry, I always knew God had a calling on my life, and I can't deviate from who I am. But I just don't want to compromise it with certain elements of politics and things that happen that go on that for me personally turn me off about being involved in the ministry. But I still love and support the church for all the good that it does. But I understand the frustrations that so many people have with dealing with religion. And again, I don't want that to be a hindrance to the conversation being able to move forward. So I stepped outside of the walls, didn't want to be a hypocrite, didn't want to cause division. So I decided to step away. But the calling on my life has never left. Yeah, I've probably been a little rebellious from time to time, but who hasn't? But I'm taking this opportunity now to build this platform so that we can have these kind of conversations where real reconciliation can take place and we can move forward. But it goes back to these very real and honest situations. Again, if you're being challenged with having direct eye contact, to me, this goes back to the fear of being vulnerable. And this goes back to why so many relationships aren't working, because so many of us are afraid to be honest, not only with ourselves, but with each other. And until we can get to a place to where we can have direct intimacy, and it starts with something as simple as eye contact. And again, all of this started from a conversation that was very random. And I honestly, I put it out as a joke just to see what people would say. And I was surprised at how many people were honest and said, yeah, that's not the place for that. And I completely understand that point of view. But no matter where we go, no matter what we do, we are still people. And even though we may be operating from a lower frequency of our natural instincts or survival, there's still something in us, a higher level of consciousness, a spiritual side of us, whatever you want to call it, that needs to be recognized, it needs to be affirmed, and it has to be fed and grown so that we can be healthy enough to build strong communities that have codes, that have standards and principles that operate higher than our natural urges and emotional responses to things, because that is the only way we're going to truly move forward together in this conversation. So again, this has been Brother Mark Scott. I appreciate you giving me your time. I'll try to keep these videos short. I don't want to go over too much time. But again, working on my ebook, The Dating Game, rewriting the rules so that you can win. Again, just go to the Cash App, Mr. Mark Scott 76, drop in the note, The Dating Game. That is your promo code, $13. Then once you get your receipt, email it to Brother Mark Scott. And again, if you just want to just drop a love offering. If you see this and you appreciate the content, you like what I'm saying, again, subscribe to the channel, like the video, put in a comment, share it, and please feel free, by all means, just drop a love offering in the Cash App. Again, Mr. Mark Scott 76, because everything I'm doing is motivated by love, but I'm honest, it's going to take some finances for me to be able to move this vision forward. So I'm asking for your support. This is Brother Mark Scott. I love you. Just know that everything I do is so that we all can win together as a human family and as a community. So again, support the mission, support the vision, show some love, drop it in the Cash App, order the ebook, $13. But if not, again, just pure love. So Brother Mark Scott, I'm out. Y'all have a fantastic day. Love you.